In this video, as I mentioned before, I wanted to talk about what's happening when someone is dying here, because surprise, surprise, it's very, very different again as what I'm used to from Europe. In Europe, usually when someone is dying, you notify the authorities to take the body, they prepare it, put it there in the church. And you can take a look there, you can say goodbyes, you can think about and be there. And usually there you have a priest to talk about that person and lead the ceremony and everything. Then you go to the cemetery, put it in the ground, and that's more or less it. But that's more or less the procedure in Europe. Very clear, very quick, very short, very understandable. And then you come to the Philippines, and everything is different. Everything is strange. Something is funny or questionable. Or what do you think? Also, for the first, you cannot have a general saying what's here going on, what's the procedure here, because of course you have the Muslim here, you have the Catholics, and not only Catholics, plenty of Christians like Buddhists, Methodists, born again, Glacier Cristo, tons and tons of different people. Then you have the native people here. You have different islands with different beliefs and different situations. It's different in a big city or with rich people compared to poor people and that kind of things. Over the years, I've been in a lot of burials and funerals, but most of the time just as a visitor or a friend of the family, something like that. Just went in the evening, seen a dead person, say my goodbyes, pay my respect. Once in a while, also been there when you bury them in the graveyard, and that dinner, that food, and that kind of things. But it was always kind of distant. But last year, my mother-in-law died just a few days after my father died. But I didn't have much contact, so it didn't affect me too much. And then I really experienced the whole story, how it's here, because they live just next house to me. My wife is, of course, their daughter, so yeah, really had a first-hand experience how it's handled here, not just a glimpse, just one evening or something. So it was very eye-opening, very different, and very interesting, and some kinds of things also questionable and funny and that kind of things. But as I said, you cannot generalize that because there's too many islands, too many groups and native people, and then the religion and everything is a bit different. But in general, what you can expect is, just from my experience, when the person is there dying or dead, then they notify the authorities. Someone is coming that's very well organized, very good, like a machinery. Of course, there's lots and lots of people here. They take the dead person, bring it to the funeral home or something to prepare it. I'm not sure what they really do. They have to remove the organs or put some preservatives or whatever. I don't know about that. Anyway, that person is out very quick. Then they put all the stuff from that person, so the I don't know, their toys, their clothes, the makeup and shoes and everything in big plastic sacks, and it has to stay in these sacks somewhere for 1 year. And after 1 year, they're allowed to open the sacks and burn everything or throw everything. So yeah, kind of all the stuff from the dead person is usually officially not allowed to keep or to use as remembrance. You just throw it, burn it. Then the people from the barangay coming, so from the area, the officials, to put there some bamboo sticks, some lona, say here, so some kind of coverage for the weather, for the rain, so that because you expect lots and lots of visitors, that they can stay dry, they have shelter, they make some coverage there, and it basically starts. A few hours later, after the person died, maybe 6, 7, 8 hours later, it's already back in the house, already prepared, everything done. So, like I said, it's very quick, it's very efficient in my opinion. Something finally that's efficient here. Usually that's not the case. And then you have that person in an open coffin in the house, so open in case, meaning you have some glass cover so you can see that person. Prepared everything. Then you have maybe some flowers and some candles and that kind of stuff around. And then the dead person stays in the house for 1 or 2 weeks, depending on the situation. It's the affecting factors for this is one, the burial time for it. Because not every church does burials every day. There's sometimes just specific days, 2 or 3 days in the week where they do this, and it's done also more like a group burial where they have 3, 4, 5 coffins They just make a general goodbye, somewhat like in our country, where they have one deceased there and speak about him and focus on him. It's often more like general, you 4 or 5 coffees and just some general words. And also there is, I think, some days where it's not good or not good luck when you have burial. So you need to think about that. And the next part is, of course, Philippines has lots of overseas workers. So Kuwait, Dubai, America, whatever. And they also want to get the chance to say goodbye and to be a present, be around there. So they need some time to arrange to get some time off to get the flight back home and that kind of things. Therefore, it can take 1 or 2 weeks that that person is in the house. It's also kind of a bit surprising for me because usually they don't have money and always an emergency all the time they're out of money. But in such a situation, suddenly most of them have money to pay the flight, on a short notice to come back. But that's how it is. And then that person is there for 1 or 2 weeks. And the nearest, closest relatives, so the kids, grandkids, siblings, spouse, has to be present there 24/7. Also not all of them, but one of them, some of the closest relatives. And it was so my wife basically slept most of the time there, or more or less slept. The coffin was in the living room, and so my wife and her sisters was most of the time there on the sofa, on the couch, just sitting there, waiting there in case someone want to come because the house is open 24/7. Anytime, even 3 in the morning, someone can come and then want to see the dead and then say his goodbyes. Someone need to be there to guide them to be there, and so she had really not really much sleep in that time because, as I said, 2 weeks been basically always there and take care and watching and preparing. Next part is most of the time the people coming in the evening. Mostly they have then also some kind of games like bingo game for the kids where you just spend a few pesos. Card games we have maybe 50, 100 per game. And then this Pekio, this is kind of its stone, maybe like Mahjong or something in the area, which is where they spend thousands of pesos, also big money for a year. And most of the time, the people who is playing, the gambling people, they not really much related to the dead person. They're not really connected about. In our area, that's a group. They just go to every dead person, every burial, and playing there. And the family usually is doesn't mind or is even happy that that stranger is coming here to play, because every time you play around, also with the bingo, also with the card game, give a small amount of money for the dead person, deceased. So the more you play, the higher the money is there. The more goes for the dead person, which is then used for the burial, for the expenses. Because also the people they are there, they get some coffee, some snacks, some small items. So they kind of happy that this people is coming there and playing because then they get some more money. Sometimes it can be conflicting when there's 2 or 3 dead persons in the area, and of course they cannot be everywhere. In my opinion, when I die, I just want to have the people there who I really know and like and be friends with, not some stranger that I don't even know. They just come here for gambling and drinking and playing. But okay, that's how it is here. It's 10 days, 1 week, 2 weeks until the set date for the burial is there. On the night before the burial, there's then more or less a bigger event. It's the important night, big farewell, big goodbye, where you have then a priest in the house, where you have then maybe some old ladies who make some special prayer, some special ceremony or something. Then you have a bigger buffet with more food there, lots of things to eat about, and there are lots and lots of people in the last night because it's the special night, important night. And then on the burial day, on the effective day, usually in the morning, 7, 8 in the morning, 6 in the morning, they take the coffin out to the car, and then they drove the car very slowly to the church. And lots of people walking behind the car, some with motorbikes, some with car, and yeah, it kind of makes a traffic jam and then interrupts the traffic because, like for my example, from our house, when you walk very slowly, maybe 30, 40 minutes, you walk to the church. And of course, it's on a main road and a highway, you're blocking the way that you can expect when you drive around in the Philippines, that you always have someone who block the road and is around there. And you'll be in the church. Usually there's then two, three, four coffins, and the priest said some general words in general about the dead and the deceased, not specific, not too personal as we know it. And after that, it's also usually quick, so 30, 40 minutes. Then we take the coffin and walk to the cemetery. In our case, again, like 30, 40 minutes, so again walking, again blocking the street, again making traffic jam. And then in the cemetery, usually you have some tent or something and some chairs where the people can sit down, and the coffin is put in front and then really opens. Also, this glass cover is removed so that the person is really accessible. And then the closest relative, usually like the kids, the siblings, they go in there and they hug the dead person, give a kiss or something. Again, it's a bit strange for us because the person is dead, maybe already 2 weeks, and then medical, maybe health reasons or hygiene or whatever. And then you kiss them, hug them. Yeah, but that is how it is here, how the practice is it. Then they put some items in the coffin, like backpack, like makeup, maybe some food, maybe some alcohol, some cigarette, whatever, kind of. But that's new items usually because, as I said, usually all the items from the person is in the sack, is waiting for 1 year until it's thrown away. So they buy a new makeup or backpack or clothes or whatever. It's kind of to give the deceased to have an afterlife or help him in the way to the afterlife or something like that. So the items go in the coffin. Everyone says their goodbyes, and then the coffin goes in the ground. Usually there's then a hole in the ground. There are some of the coffins, it's also possible that they have the concrete coffin on top, concrete block, and they put the coffin inside and then they close it with hollow blocks. But the more common is that they have a hole in the ground. It's in this concrete block where the coffin goes in, then another concrete layer goes on top and to close it up. And then they put the soil. Sometimes I mean also put some flowers or some other items thrown in there. And in our case, also then the all the visitors went circle around the hole around the grave 3 4 times. I'm not sure what this was about, and that's more or less it. After that, you have to go home to the house of the deceased or the relatives, or where's the celebration hold. You have you have again a buffet and food and everything. Usually that's quickly because Filipino, after the buffet is open, after they've eaten, they go home. So as soon as they got the food, you can expect that it's soon quiet on very few people there. Then the next step is on the day after the burial, at least here in my area, the kids, the siblings, take all the blanket or from the window, the curtains and everything. They take all this stuff, all these clothes, and bring it to the river and make it a hand wash, which is something also kind of annoying because it takes for them the whole day and they're sitting in the river in the sun without cover. And when they sit in the whole day in the river washing the clothes, it's they're getting brown and it's not good for them as well. But that's how it is, and that's more or less it. So then, like for example, my wife, then you had now around 2 weeks where she spent all day, all night over there, entertaining the visitor, welcoming them, showing them around, washing the clothes. Of course, was mentally also very occupied because she was very close with her mother. So it's very stressful and tiring times. And the next appointment then is 1 year after the death, after the disease. Yeah, is another celebration, but not exact on the day they died, or a few days early, a few days late. You have another celebration. You also can make some food, prepare some food. Again, a visitor can pay attention, and of course, you have to go to the grave or the birthday, especially the first events. But the last official is then 1 year after they died. Now. Yo, that's the general view, the general perspective. Now to the more maybe specific, the region specific beliefs and superstitions and something, which is that is sometimes very nice and interesting to hear. So there's tons and tons, and I can just say a few because I don't remember all, and like I say, it's different in every region. One thing that is usually nice but didn't ever apply for us, When someone died, you can kind of apply on the electric company that your electric bill is zero for the month, that they don't charge you anything for electric. I'm not sure why. Of course, you need more electricity when you always have the candles, the light there, and then you have the water cooler running non-stop and something. You can also apply in the uh, mayor's hall or in the region for aid, for the governor and for the mayor for aid, or also the barangay. If the summer died and it helped with expenses for the burial, for the coffin, for whatever. Most of the time they give you a bit money. Of course, and so the other stories are, of course, that it's not their money, that's already from the government and everything, but it's nice that you get a little bit help there. Yo, and then we come to the beliefs. For example, is that the dead body was standing, the coffin was standing in the house for 10 days or something like that. And one of the beliefs is when there's a dead body in the house, a coffin in the house, there is no cats and dogs allowed in the house. And of course, it's a bit difficult when, on the one hand, you have cats and dogs, they are used to go in the house. On the other hand, you have the door always open because you need to invite the visitors. If someone wants to say the goodbyes and see the dead person, you need to be open and have the house open. And that's not working really good together. Of course, most of the time, the older people, the older women believe in this kind of stuff and pay attention to it. But yeah, they get really crazy when they're there and praying, the old woman, and then a dog or a cat enter the house because it's very unlucky and bad luck and everything. And yes, another thing is the closest relatives, so like the sisters, siblings, kids, grandkids, spouse, they are not allowed to during these 10 days or 2 weeks when that person is in the house to do any work. As far as I understand, housework. I'm not sure if it's also real work, but they are not allowed to washing plates, washing the laundry, cooking, serving, or something. Not really sure why, but that's how it is. For example, I had some friends here, some visitors who wanted also to pay their attention. And it was morning, they wanted to drink some coffee, and then my wife said, I have to bring the coffee, I have to serve it because she is not allowed to serve coffee because during the 10 days or whatever, officially they're not allowed to do any work at all, which is a bit conflicting with the next, because of course usually the neighbors or the extended relatives, the cousin, uncle, or whatever, they making the work, the cooking, the serving, but they maybe not have time. And as it was in our case, by the time or we had the barangay fiesta, so the whole neighborhood was celebrating and party and was busy with their own cooking, their own visitor, their own stuff going on. And so they also didn't have much time to help out here, so it was kind of conflicting for them, but somehow they managed to do it. That's also another rule, of course. You're not allowed to have any celebration during that time because you need to kind of mourn and be sad and be that kind of things. As we said, we had the barangay fiesta, we had to cancel it. Or when you have a birthday party, a wedding, or something, you need to cancel it because it's disrespectful when you have a dead person, when you're supposed to mourn and then be sad, and then you make some party and celebration and then that kind of things. For 1 year after the person died, the closest relatives are not allowed to wear anything red or any flower dress, flower scarf, flower whatever, because it's kind of sign of happiness or something. And you need to have this 1 year where you kind of don't show too much happiness. So you're not allowed to wear anything red or anything with flowers. And the spouse is not allowed to cut his hair for 1 year. I don't know why. It's coming from Kalinga area. It's not too far from us. That you're not allowed to cut your hair for 1 year. For example, you also there's a rule when you're pregnant. You're not allowed to see any dead person because it affects the child, it affects the baby, it makes harm to the baby, makes problems, kills the baby or something like that. My sister-in-law was pregnant during the time. She was close to her mother. Of course, she wanted to see her mother again and then say goodbye and then last time, this and that. So officially, she was not allowed to see the dead person, her mother, because otherwise her unborn child would have get damaged and I don't know what. And that's so the general beliefs. Some of them, like I said, there's lots and lots and more. And yeah, that's kind of very interesting for me. And then see, yeah, I don't know what you think about it. You can write it down below if you think that's a better way to deal with it like we do in the West, or if you maybe find something strange, or if you say something is good, I'm not. One other thing that I remember, what was a bit strange for me, was my neighbor. He died. He was just 30 years old. He left behind he had a motorbike accident. He left behind his wife and a daughter and unfinished house and everything. And we've been there, and of course, a few times because it was our neighbor, so some kind of a friend and a cousin of my wife. We've been there a few times in the evenings to yeah, play games or play cards and play bingo. And for me, it's strange and because someone died, and then you're sitting there and drinking and laughing and having a good time. And so, okay, what's usually happening is you go in the house, you stand in front of the coffin, maybe a short while in silence, a few minutes, speak your prayer in silence, or make your peace in silence or something. Then you sit down with other people, you talk, just regular talk, or play games or drinking or something. And when I was there on one day, then I started with the widow, with the wife of the deceased, to talk about things like, for my mind, was normal, because your husband, the dead husband, was still there. And for me, if someone is dead, someone died, you need to not go there and gambling and drinking and play card and be happy, but you need to put your mind to the dead person, remember him and talk about him. And because the dead person is his last time here, so he should be in the center of this event. You go there to the coffin for 5 minutes, pray in silent, and then 2 hours you go drinking, gambling, whatever, and be happy. That's for me not the correct way, because my personal opinion, because it's all about that person. And anyway, the time then I started with a video to kind of talk. How do you remember him? How did you meet him? How was he as a father? How was he as a husband? What was his favorite food? What he liked to do? What's your favorite part about him? And this kind of things. And I was kind of stopped really quickly from my wife, and later on explained in our own area that this kind of questions was very inappropriate and disturbing for her, because kind of it brought back up lots of memories and lots of stuff, and put her in a sad place and crying, sobering or whatever. And so I learned by the time that it's apparently not the right place, or not appropriate, that you ask that kind of questions about the dead person. So for me, that would be normal, because it's the whole event, in my opinion, is about the dead person. So you need to put him in the center of your stay, that you talk about him and remember him and show pictures or whatever. But that's for sure not the case. That's also shown in other example I had with my mother-in-law. On the last evening, as I said, that's the most important evening, the biggest event, when the most people is there and the most food is there and everything. First, you had the official part where you had a priest and I think some old woman to praying there, and they make some prayer and Christian things. I'm not Christian, so I'm not sure about all that stuff. And everyone was standing around, silent, quiet, and then they listened to the priest and then what he said and the prayer and everything. And after that, the official part was over, and my wife started to open a slideshow of pictures she created before, pictures of her mother, showing her with her grandchildren, with her husband, and how she was, what she did, what she liked, and that kind of things. But that was not the official part anymore. So also by the same time, the buffet was already opened, and you have to imagine like this: you have here the projector, and here was the screen for the pictures, and in the middle was the buffet. And usually it was fine, but the problem was the buffet was open, so all the people scrambled there, run there, scared to starving or whatever. And then of course the people standing in the middle between the projector and the screen, so you couldn't see anything because the people was just covering it. And for me, I was by the time very mad about it and angry, because I said, what kind of thing is that? It's about this dead person. We just want to show a few pictures, just 2, 3, 4 minutes. Can you not show respect and at least wait until this slideshow is over, these 3 4 minutes, to give everyone time to see the picture, to relate to it, to take his time to remembering some certain moments or whatever. No, they cannot do it because as soon as the food is open, apparently everyone is scared that they starve and they not get enough. I already mentioned it in other videos. When you have a wedding, when you have a christening, when you have a birthday or something, you can expect as soon as the food the buffet is open, the people running there and jumping there and will try their best to get as much as possible. And then 20 minutes later, when they're done eating, most of the people is gone. And it was the same in the burial of my mother-in-law. And for me, it was kind of very, very disrespectful because I said it's her last evening. Last time, we just want to show a few pictures and remember her and keep her in our mind, in our focus, in our center of attention. And the people couldn't wait because they was so much in hurry to get the food, and they don't care if they're blocking the view, if they're blocking the picture, no one can see them because they was in a rush to get the food. But that's how it is here, and I'm just a foreigner. I'm not from here. I don't know the rules. I'm not don't know the culture. I'm just a stranger, so it's not on me, and also not my mother. So it's not on me to call the shots and then say what to do. I just said by the time I had a little emotional moment there, also because, as I said, my father died a bit earlier. Even I didn't have much contact with him, I wasn't close to him, but still it was kind of affecting me. I said, I want to have it very, very different because that's not what I want for me. That you die and then coming there are hundreds of people, most of them you don't even know, you don't know them, you never seen them, or you just seen them years ago, and they just come there for gambling and drinking and eating, and they don't care about you at all. I said I prefer have only a very small group of people to attend, even it's just 5 6 or whatever, really close to me, really like, really friends, really close people, and not just everyone, no? Because I think also part of this situation is also here in the Philippines that the more people come, when more people is coming to your event, it doesn't matter if it's your festa or a birthday or funeral or burial or whatever. The more people come, the more it shows you. When lots of people come, it shows for everyone around, for the neighbor. You're so much liked. You have so much friends, so many friends. You're very popular. Everyone likes you. Everyone come to you, and I think that's one of the reasons that you need to show as many people as possible to come, that you can show off, and it's more about the quantity, not of the quality of the people. Yo, that's my experience here. Let me know what you think about it. If you have different experience, maybe in your country, in your place, it's different again. You can give me some ideas, and in my opinion, it's for sure interesting to see. It's something different, something for me it was new, something I didn't experience so far, and maybe you can agree with me or not. It's very interesting experience in one or the other way.